So translating your books into a different language is one of the easiest ways to diversify your income, as well as tap into a whole new audience that is actually very profitable. A lot of people are making a full-time income using this strategy, and yet not a lot of people are talking about this. So in this video, I'll actually show you how to do this. The best way to translate your books, how to make sure your book will be profitable, and how to effectively get reviews and market your books. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Sean. I made over $1.7 million in royalties from my own books. I made a lot of money from translations myself, and I still do this business to this day. So if you want no BS advice from someone who's actually still publishing, then make sure to subscribe. And with that being said, let's get right into the translations tutorial. So essentially when I say translations, I'm talking about taking your English book and translate it to many different languages. And by doing so, you can sell it as a whole new book. This process is pretty quick and easy since you already have the book files. And again, many people make a full-time income just selling books in specific markets, like just selling in the German market, or just in the Spanish market, the French market, Italian market. I know many people personally who make 6 figures or more doing this, because Amazon is not just open in the US, right? Yes, the US market is the biggest market, but they're also open in many different countries. And essentially we're now tapping into this. As an example, this book right here is the English version of the book doing $100 a day. And just by translating it into Spanish, they are doing an additional $49 per day. That's $1,500 a month that you didn't have before, but now you're tapping into it just by translating your book into another language. And that's just with Spanish, right? You can do the same thing. You can take the exact same book and not just do Spanish, but now you can turn it into a German book, a French book, Italian book, a Japanese book if you think it's profitable, right? So you can diversify even more. So why do you want to do translations? Well, it's a lot less competition than the US. It's also a little less profitable than the US. That's normal, right? Because the market is smaller, but it's still very, very profitable. So significantly lower competition, still pretty profitable, which again, I'm going to show you. And the biggest thing is you already have the English book files. So this process is pretty easy. So let me show you the differences in terms of competition and profitability in different markets. So we have this keyword, ketogenic diet, right? One of the most saturated keyword out there. It has 30,000 results in Amazon.com. This is a US market. We all know that it's a profitable keyword, but also very competitive. Well, if I go to Amazon.de, which is Amazon Germany, and I typed in the ketogenic diet in German, I just went to Google Translate. I got the German word for it, typed it in Amazon.de. Now the search results is 2,000 results. So you can see that the competition is significantly less. Now, this doesn't mean anything. Like, this doesn't matter if the profitability is also very low. But now we're going to check that, right? So we're checking on page 1 over here, and you can see that these books are about keto diet, because it says right here, keto diet, right? And it's doing 65 euro a day. This one also on keto, 25 euro a day, right? This one is 225 euro a day, 248 euro a day. By the way, this only has 84 reviews. Very, very low reviews. This only has 67 reviews, 42 euros a day. This one got 4 reviews, a new book, 124 euro a day. You can see that both in terms of the search results and in terms of reviews required to start making money, way lower while still being pretty damn profitable, I would say. This is a coloring book example. So in the Amazon.com market, coloring book for adults keyword has 70,000 search results. We all know this, right? Coloring book for adults is a very competitive keyword, very profitable, but very competitive. Now this one over here, we search for, again, the translated version of coloring book for adults. It still has 50,000 results, so a little less, still high, but if you look at page 1 over here, the books that are ranking for these keywords and that's actually making money has very low reviews. So in terms of how much reviews it takes to start making money, it seems that the competition in that sense is a lot low, because this one is doing 32 euros a day, 9 reviews. This one is doing close to 400 euros a day, 106 reviews, right? So a lot less. This is 237 a day. This is an English book that's ranking, so it doesn't count. This has 19 reviews, 23 euros a day. 6 reviews, 34 euros a day. And this is on page 1, right? So a lot of books on page 1, very low reviews, still ranking, still making money. So you can see the competition's lower in that sense. And this is something all the top publishers are doing, by the way, when I'm talking about translations. Like Kokoril over here has a German book. They actually have multiple German books. And with coloring books and those kind of things where you don't really have a lot of text inside besides like a couple of texts like this, it's all just coloring pages, right? So it's so easy to translate it. All you need is a title, description, 7 backing keyword, couple text inside. You translate it. Now you got a whole new book. You can publish it, into different markets, and it starts selling hundreds of euros a day. As you can see here, they're doing like 15K a month just from this one book. So that was a German example. Let me show you a Spanish example over here. So I looked up relaxing word search for adults in Amazon.com, the US market. It has 20,000 results. But when I translate this into Spanish, again, just using Google Translate over here, and I search it in Amazon.com, because for Spanish books, I actually like to search and sell on Amazon.com because I feel like in the US, there's a lot of Spanish speakers buying Spanish books. So you can actually just search on Amazon.com. But essentially, you can see that the competition is now 261 results, a Spanish version of this 20,000 search results keyword, 261 results. So is it actually profitable? Well, yes, because this book, literally #1 in the organic ranking, has 3 reviews, 6,290 in the bookstore, 77 bucks a day in royalties, $2,000 a month. And this one over here, 10 reviews, 25,000 BSR, only 8 bucks a day because the book is cheap, but still that is pretty good. Like 10 reviews ranking on page 1, that's crazy. We have this book right here, 21 reviews, 24 bucks a day. So competition is significantly less, but a good amount of books on page 1 doing pretty good money. So as you can see, translating your books will significantly cut down the competition while remaining pretty profitable. So now that you see the potential with this is exactly how, step by step, how to get started. So step #1 is you want to research. And when I say research, what I mean by this is you want to make sure your keyword is profitable in different markets. Yes, it's profitable in the English market, I'm assuming, right? But you still want to check in different markets. So all you're doing is taking your main keyword and you translate it into Google Translate or ChatGPT or whatever, and then you search it in the relevant Amazon store. So if you're checking if it's profitable in the Spanish market, once again, I like to check it in Amazon US or Amazon.com, but you can also check it in Amazon.es for Spain, Amazon.mx for Mexico, and you can see if you find books that are selling very well in those markets. If so, then it's profitable. It's giving you a green light, right? If you're trying to do German, then go to Amazon.de and see if the German books, of that topic is profitable. If it's French, Amazon.fr, and basically the same thing applies for all the marketplaces. So super quick demonstration. This is literally all you do. Google Translate, ketogenic diet, or whatever keyword. I get the German version because I'm checking for German. I go to Amazon.de. This is for the German market. I paste the keyword and I start checking page 1 if there are books that are profitable on this, right? And you can see that we saw earlier that it's very, very profitable. So ketogenic diet, German version, super profitable, gives me a green light to go and translate my ketogenic diet books. Now, a couple things I want to touch on here is that the amount of books that are in these different marketplaces are a lot less than the US market. So just because a 30,000 BSR is profitable in the US, like if you get a 30,000 BSR in Amazon.com, that's great. It's doing a lot of money. But if you go to a smaller marketplace, like let's say Amazon Japan, and get 30,000 BSR, it doesn't mean that it's good. Like sometimes 30,000 BSR is really bad depending on the market because there are less books out there. So for that reason, it's smarter to look for a BSR that's much lower than your normal target BSR. But if you have BookBeam, then it automatically calculates how much the book is making depending on the marketplace. So it does make things a little easier. And BookBeam is doing this thing right here. So if you want to check it out, the link is in the description. I think I have a little discount for BookBeam, again, in the description, but that is up to you. So once we confirmed that our keyword is profitable, translated, step 2 is to actually translate the book. So this is how you do it. You take your book file, which is the interior content, the book titles, the description, the 7 backend keywords, pretty much all the text that you have for the book, and you hire a translator and have them translate it. Or if you don't want to pay for translation, you can use AI to translate those content, but don't just trust AI blatantly or blindly. You always want to make sure that the translation is correct. You want to make sure that the book is good. We're not trying to spam low quality translation crap because that actually can get you banned. I know people who got banned for doing this. And they got banned not because translating books are bad, it's because the translation quality was so bad. So it's the quality of the book itself, not the act. So basically, what I'm trying to say is make sure that your book is good every single time. So if you're going to use AI to translate and save money, you still should get a native speaker of whatever language to at least check the book, proofreading, editing, right? And go over it. But hiring someone to just proofread your book is a lot cheaper than having someone manually translate it. So if you want to save some money, that's one option. If you're doing culling books, low content, medium content, not a lot of text inside your book, this is super easy. Like super easy. You just translate your title, description, barely any text inside the content, as you saw the example with like Kokoro, and you can get a whole new book essentially out. And as you have the new book title that is translated, then you just take that and recreate your book cover. You do not have to change the book cover design. You just swap out the title, and that is it. All right, so if you're wondering, how do I hire translators? How do I hire proofreaders? I wanted to make this as easy as possible for you guys. So I've compiled personally what I believe to be the best translators and proofreaders that I've found on Fiverr. Some of them I personally used in the past. For others, I made sure to read the reviews, check the review ratio. And also the main thing is looking at their price, because a lot of times with translations, people can charge you a huge amount and you don't have to pay that much. Okay, there are some good budget options, which are these ones. So if you guys want to try these gigs out, if you trust me, because I spent a couple hours compiling these lists just to make it easier for you guys, then the links to these pages are in the description below. But essentially from the top over here, this gig is good for Spanish translations. If you're doing a high content book, let's say you got 30,000 words, it's going to cost you $300, which is a pretty fair price for translation. It's actually a very good price, okay? Now, if you just want Spanish proofreading, this is an option over here. If you want German translations, this person, Patrick, will do it for you. Now, Patrick also does proofreading in German, and I found this one, Sebastian, that does French translation. So again, all of these are in the description below. Just to show you visually how it should look like, this is Kokoro, this book in the English version, right? And this is the German version. So you're literally just translating the title here in the description, right? And then you update the book cover according to the new title and maybe the interior. See, the interior is German, but everything else is pretty much the same. And now you got a whole new book making 500 euros a day. And when I say you, I'm talking about Kokoro. I'm not guaranteeing, people who watching this will make 500 euros a day. My channel is getting bigger, so I just want to make sure I'm adding more disclaimers than before. But I'm sure my viewers will have the common sense to understand that. All right, so after you translate your book, step 3 is to go and market it. There are a couple things you got to understand when it comes to first uploading the book to Amazon KDP, right? The process is pretty much the same, except 2 things. Number 1 is when you're uploading, the first step here, the ebook detail or the paperback detail, you have to select the language. So make sure to select the correct language here. A lot of people miss this step, so make sure you do that. And on step 3, right, the pricing section, you want to choose your primary marketplace. So this is where your primary audience hangs out. So as I said earlier, right? If you're doing Spanish books, then I just choose to stay in the .com because I feel like most of my Spanish book sales are coming from there. But you can choose to do Amazon ES or MX. That's up to you. That's Spain or Mexico. For German, you do .de for the German market. For French, you do .fr, right? For Italian, you can do .it. Now, here's the big one, okay? Getting reviews. So getting reviews in these international markets, like getting reviews in specifically Amazon.France or Amazon.Germany, right? This used to be very hard. There wasn't a lot of options, but now there is a very simple, easy, and quick way to do this. And that is using book bounties. So I talk about book bounty often on this channel. I feel like if you watch my other videos, then you know how this works. If not, just go check out the website, read it, and you'll have a good understanding because it's a very simple process. It's essentially a book club where you can join and, get reviews. I'll also leave a link in the description as well. But they recently made a change where you can now request reviews for specific marketplaces. Now, before you couldn't control where you get the reviews, right? So you can request a review and sometimes people leave a review in .com, sometimes in Canada, in the UK, and Australia. You couldn't control it. So it was hard to get international reviews because if I got a German book and I want reviews specifically in Amazon Germany, I couldn't control that. But now with Book Bounty, that is possible. So when you go and request a review, per usual, now there's an additional feature right here. And as you see, this is the default setting. Accept reviews from any marketplace, right? This is how it always was. But now if you, let's say, want reviews in the Amazon German marketplace, you can go here and literally select Germany and say, I don't want it in the .com. I just want it in Germany, right? If you want it in multiple marketplaces, you can do that too. But this is how you can choose where you want the reviews to be posted. So if you want reviews in Amazon France, you can do that. Or if you want it in Amazon.com because you got a Spanish book, or let's say you got a Spanish book, but you want to go to Amazon Spain, you can do that too. So this is how you can easily control where you get reviews. It's going to cost 300 extra points, but in my opinion, that is not a lot at all. They also included this feature in the Plus or the Pro plan. So I guess that is something you can consider if you want it for free, but I'll leave that up to you guys. So this is pretty huge. Again, I've been doing translations for years, right? And it's always been super hard to get reviews for my Spanish book or my, German book, because I don't have an audience in those marketplaces. My email list that I have, my social media audience that I have, they're all English speakers. So if I translate my books, I had to rebuild a audience for that language, but now I can get reviews super easy with Book Bounty, so it solves that problem. So I think it's huge. So once you have enough reviews, the next step is to go and market it per usual. This whole process is the same as if you're doing English books, by the way. So you can run Amazon ads, you can do social media marketing, right? But if you're doing ads, this is what you have to understand. You want to target the relevant markets. So just like with German books, instead of running ads to Amazon.com, you probably want to run ads to Amazon.de, Amazon Germany, right? Because that's where the audiences are hanging out. I mean, you can test it out for sure. Like there are some Germans hanging out in Australia, so you can, run Amazon AU ads to Australia, for your German books. That's fine, right? Test it out and see what works. But primarily speaking, this is what you want to do. So personally, once again, for Spanish books, I run ads to Amazon.com, but also test out Amazon Spain and also Mexico, right? German books, I run ads to Amazon Germany. For French books, Amazon France, maybe sometimes Canada, right? So test it out, see what works. But besides that, the process is all the same. So to recap, translations, in my opinion, very untapped opportunity. A lot of people are taking advantage of this, right? A lot of people are making a full-time income already. But as you saw, the competition at the moment significantly lower in these marketplaces, still very profitable. There's a lot of room for people to come in and do this. And now there's a pretty easy step-by-step way of doing this. Because AI is making it easier to translate your books, right? Of course, check the translation quality, but AI can really help you with that. And then Book Bounty made it super easy to get reviews in any market. So I feel like the bottleneck is gone. Like there's nothing stopping people from getting into this. So I will personally be doing a lot more translations as well. But if you see the opportunity, maybe you should try it out as well too. So if you do test it out, or if you already do translations, then let me know in the comments how it worked for you. And if you're serious about scaling your Amazon KDP business, then I do have a complete Amazon KDP mentorship program. I've been teaching people, KDP for a couple years now. We produced a lot of success stories, like pretty insane success stories that I shared on my channel multiple times. We got some student interviews on the channel, in different videos I share about it as well. But if you guys are interested in learning more about it, you can book a free strategy call to see if this program is a good fit for you. All you have to do is click on the first link in the description. It'll take you to a page like this. You can fill out the form, answer some questions, and you can book a free call. Once again, talk to our coaches. It's about 30 minutes. It's completely free, and see if this program is a good fit for you. If it's not a good fit, no problem, right? But if it is, then maybe we can do something amazing together. So, and if you want more information from actual customers, you can actually go to our Trustpilot page. We got a 4.9 average rating out of 469 reviews, which I think is pretty damn good. It's like, I've never heard of a course or a program doing 4.9 average. Like these are other people, right? So I think it's pretty good. I think we're doing pretty good, and we're always trying to improve from here. So if you trust us, if you like me, if you like my videos, and if you're considering, a program like this, maybe you can check it out. It's the first link, once again, in the description. So with that being said, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, comment any questions you have. Actually comment translations if you see the opportunity, if you made it until the end of this video, so I know that you're one of the serious people out there. So comment translations, and also subscribe if you haven't yet. I'm trying to get to 400,000 subscribers. So if you find these videos to be valuable and if you want to support me, please subscribe, and I will really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.